Okay, so we were all asking the same thing. Why is Shedeur Sanders, a guy with a highlight reel longer than a CVS receipt and a last name that practically echoes through NFL history, sitting third string on the Cleveland Browns depth chart? Was it ego, politics, poor fit, coaching drama? Well, turns out it was none of the above. The answer? Accidentally slipped out of Brown's own assistant GM's mouth, Catherine Hickman, in what was supposed to be a tight-lipped boilerplate media appearance, ended up saying the quiet part way too loud. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. She was mid-interview, talking about the team's evaluation process, and then casually dropped this bomb. We're not rushing Shedeur. He's part of our long-term plan, and we're collecting data this season and into the spring. We want to be strategic about when and how he steps in. Excuse me? Let's rewind that. You mean to tell me the Browns have been hiding a franchise-level quarterback on purpose? Playing the long game while fans and the media are out here screaming about depth charts and wasted talent? Oh, it's giving chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And in that moment, everything clicked. The weird decisions, the silence, the lack of clarity around Shedeur's role. It wasn't about performance. It was about positioning. They're not ignoring his talent. They're protecting it. So now the conversation shifts. Because this isn't just a story about a third-string QB. This is about power, timing, strategy. It's about how the Browns, yes, the Cleveland Browns, might actually be pulling off one of the most calculated development plays we've seen in years. Let's break it down. Shedeur Sanders didn't come into the league like your average rookie. This isn't some kid trying to earn his spot in silence. No, this is a quarterback who knows who he is, whose father is Deion freaking Sanders, whose college career was practically a movie trailer, who came into the league already more brand aware than some head coaches. So the Browns had two options. Option A, throw him into the fire. Let the pressure cook. Let the media pick apart every throw, every sideline glance, every tweet. Or option B, play it cool. Let the media wonder. Let the fans get loud. Let Shedeur develop quietly behind the scenes. Let the mystique grow. Guess which one they picked? That's right. Option B, the slow burn. And if we're being honest, it's kind of genius. Because every time Shedeur doesn't play, the conversation grows. The speculation builds. The myth gets taller. And meanwhile, he's working. He's practicing. He's absorbing. And he's doing it all without the pressure of carrying a broken team on his back by week 2. It's quarterback incubation, a strategic cocoon. And Hickman's little slip just confirmed what some of us suspected all along. This is NFL roster management on a whole new level. But of course, that doesn't mean people aren't frustrated. Fans have been lighting up sports talk radio for months demanding to know why Sanders hasn't seen the field. Why are we wasting this kid's rookie year? Why draft him if you're not going to use him? Are we really rolling with washed-up veterans when we've got this on the bench? Now, we've got our answer. Because this isn't just about winning games. It's about building a quarterback empire. It's about crafting a rollout. Making sure that when Shedeur does step onto that field, it's not in a desperation moment. It's in a coronation. And you better believe the Browns are watching every snap in practice like it's film from the Super Bowl. This is data collection, metrics, leadership assessments, performance psychology. They're treating Shedeur like a star of investment. And right now, they're still in stealth mode. And it's not just football, it's business. Let's not pretend marketability isn't a factor here. Shedeur is dripping with it. Between the Sanders name, the charisma, the college accolades, and that signature confidence, he's a brand. And the Browns know it. They're not just managing a quarterback. They're developing an asset. And they're not about to launch that asset before it's bulletproof. Because when they do put him out there, he's going to be more than just ready. He's going to be undeniable. And now that Hickman spilled the beans, we're seeing just how deliberate this whole strategy really is. Think about it. Shedeur was taken in the 5th round. That's already a shocker, considering his college tape. But now, It's starting to look like the steal of the decade. The Browns got elite-level talent without the first-round price tag or the media frenzy. No expectations, no pressure, just vibes and potential. And the Browns? Quietly stacking their chips. This is long-term strategy. NFL Moneyball. And honestly, it might change how the league thinks about quarterback development altogether. Because we've seen how the old model works. Draft a rookie, throw him into chaos. Watch him flounder while the team collapses around him. Then blame him when things fall apart. But the Browns are rewriting that script. They're saying, what if we didn't do that? What if we let him watch, learn, breathe? What if we gave him space to mature without a stadium full of critics breathing down his neck? It's radical, it's modern, and it's smart. But of course, there's another layer to all this, a much heavier one. Because if Shedeur was a white quarterback with the exact same resume, you know what the media will be saying? He's poised. He's biding his time. He's learning the system. But because he's black, the narrative flips. Suddenly, he's overhyped, cocky, not ready. The double standard isn't subtle. It's screaming. Black quarterbacks have always had to walk a tighter rope. Be excellent and humble. Confident but not too confident. Expressive but never uncontrollable. And if they dare to build a brand, suddenly that's distracting. So yeah, there's a reason the Browns are being careful. It's not just football politics. It's racial optics. They know that if they mishandle this, Shedeur doesn't just take a hit. They do. The franchise, the culture, the future of how quarterbacks like him are treated, which is why this whole plan, this slow burn, it's not just strategy, it's protection. And it tells us something crucial. The Browns are playing for the long haul. They're not interested in short-term wins at the cost of long-term greatness. They want legacy. They want to build something that lasts. And Shedeur Sanders? He's a key piece. So now the question isn't if he starts. It's when. And trust me, when that moment comes, it won't be in the shadows. It'll be front and center. Prime time. High stakes. Full lights. Because you don't sit on a quarterback like this forever. You build the kingdom, then you hand him the crown. So let us know in the comments. Was this always a plan? Or did the Browns just get lucky? Should more teams be patient like this? Or are they just overthinking it? And when Shedeur finally takes that field, are we looking at the next era of greatness? Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives, drama breakdowns, and NFL stories that go way beyond the stat sheet. Because in the league of smoke and mirrors, sometimes the best plays are the ones they don't want you to see until it's too late. The Browns deliberately keeping Shedeur Sanders under wraps isn't just about waiting for the right football moment. It's about engineering a legacy. Carefully, cautiously, but with full intent. They're not just developing a quarterback. They're curating an era. And it starts with understanding exactly what Shedeur represents. He's not just a young, talented player. He's not just Deion's son. He's not just another fifth-round development project. He's a symbol of what's next. A quarterback who grew up with cameras on him, who understands a media machine, who can drop a perfect spiral and a brand activation in the same breath. This isn't the Peyton Manning generation. It's not even the Mahomes generation. This is the TikTok, nil, camera-ready, self-aware, culture-savvy quarterback era. And Shedeur? He's a prototype. Now here's where things get even more calculated. Think about the Browns' history. This is a franchise that has had more quarterback turnover than a soap opera cast. They've tried every flavor. Pocket passers, dual threats, college legends, draft busts, journeymen. You name it, they've tried it. And they're tired. We're tired. So this time, they're not just looking for talent. They're looking for transformation. And that's why they're playing it slow. They're not just trying to protect Shedeur from the chaos. They're trying to protect themselves from another implosion. Another he wasn't ready. Another wasted promise. Because they know what's at stake. Shedeur doesn't just have a high ceiling. He has expectations. The kind that follow you into every locker room, every press conference, every Instagram post. The kind that make every incompletion feel like a referendum on your career. So the Browns are treating this like a mission. They're letting Shedeur sit back, observe the game at its fastest speed, without being shoved into fire. They're watching him in controlled environments, practice, film room, team meetings. They're measuring everything. Accuracy, leadership, humility, brand management, locker room dynamics. Because when they unleash him, it's going to be surgical. And this isn't just football, it's marketing. Let's not pretend the Browns don't know what kind of lightning they have in a bottle. Once Shedeur starts, you're going to see the full rollout. Jersey launches, social media content, mic'd up practice footage, sideline shots with Dion in the stands, rise of the new era, teaser videos set to orchestral trap music. It's coming. And the craziest part? This entire build-up was handed a shot of pure rocket fuel thanks to Hickman's offhand comment. That one slip, it validated everything. It told fans, yes, we see what you see. Yes, we believe in him. And no, we're not wasting him. We're preparing him. And that changed the narrative. Because before this, the story was, why is Shedeur buried on the depth chart? Now it's, what are the Browns planning? That shift? That's power. And it sends a message to the rest of the league, too. To every team that's been reckless with their rookie QBs. To every coach who's crumbled under fan pressure and rushed a kid into a system that wasn't built for him. To every franchise that treated development like a light switch instead of a slow burn. The Browns are saying, there's another way. And maybe this is how you build something that lasts. But of course, there's still risk. Because the longer you wait, the louder the critics get. There's already chatter. Is he really that good? Why draft him if you're not using him? Is this a stunt or a strategy? And the danger is real. Wait too long, and momentum turns into pressure. But the Browns seem willing to gamble on the silence. They're betting that when Shedeur finally takes the field, he'll silence every critic in one throw. They're betting that all of this patience, all of this planning, will pay off in moments. Moments that live in highlight reels forever. Think about it. Imagine Shedeur's first start is a comeback game, nationally televised. Prime time. He throws a 60-yard touchdown and just stands there. Cool, calm, stone-faced. The stadium erupts. Twitter implodes. ESPN loses its mind. And suddenly all that waiting feels like prophecy, because that's the Browns' real plan. They're not just preparing Shedeur. They're preparing a moment, a spectacle, an unveiling. And once it happens, there's no going back. So what does this mean for Shedeur? It means he's not a backup. He's a blueprint. It means he's not being ignored. He's being saved. It means the Browns are doing something they've never done before. Thinking like a modern franchise. And if this works, if Shedeur comes in next season, or maybe even late this season, and lights it up, the Browns will have pulled off one of the greatest development coups in modern football. They'll have built a franchise quarterback without exposing him to the crucible too early. They'll have crafted a media narrative that turned patience into power. And they'll have redefined what a fifth-round pick can really become. It's wild. It's risky. It's brilliant. And it's not done yet. Because every day that Shedeur doesn't play, the pressure grows. The mystery deepens. The story writes itself. So now, all eyes are on the Browns. Will they stick to plan? Will they trust the data? Will they ride out the noise until the time is perfect? Or will they blink? One injury, one bad game, one fan revolt, and this house of cards could come crashing down. But for now, the Browns are playing cool, playing quiet, and playing a game no one saw coming. This isn't just a quarterback story. This is a franchise identity shift. And you know what? For once, the Cleveland Browns aren't just reacting. They're orchestrating. Let's be honest. How often have we said that sentence in the last 20 years? We've seen this team rush quarterbacks like they were trying to cook a steak on high heat with no seasoning. It's been a blur of panicked drafts, wasted talent, broken schemes, and the same sad excuses repeated year after year. He just wasn't ready. He needs more support. We need to reset the culture. It's been turnover after turnover after turnover, both in quarterback rooms and in fan faith. So when they drafted Shedeur Sanders, 5th round, no fanfare, barely a tweet, it felt weird. Too quiet, Too chill, not the usual Cleveland mess. But now it's starting to make sense. Because if Catherine Hickman accidentally spilled one truth, it's this. They never intended for Shedeur to just come in and play football. They're building a system around him, a whole ecosystem. Actually, let's break it down. On the field, yes, they're giving him time. But off the field, they're building the launch pad, one brick at a time. You think it's a coincidence Shedeur has been seen meeting with team leadership more than some starters? You think it's random that his brand team is already tight with the Browns marketing department? You think his post-practice interviews are that polished by accident? Come on, this isn't a third-string quarterback. This is a quarterback in pre-production. Think of it like a Marvel movie. You don't just film Iron Man and drop it in theaters the next day. You plan, you storyboard, you control leaks, you cast the right villains, you build hype. That's what this is. The Shedeur Sanders origin story. Slow drip like a prestige drama, while the fans argue about the trailer. And meanwhile, the Browns are just sipping tea in the background, knowing exactly what's coming. But here's the twist that no one wants to say out loud. They had to play it this way. Because if they didn't, if they let the world know just how much they were betting on Shedeur from the jump, the pressure would have been insane. Not just media noise, legacy noise. Because Shedeur isn't just a player. He's a narrative, the son of Dion, the face of HBCU football, the embodiment of self-confidence in a league that still feels uncomfortable when young black quarterbacks act like they know their worth. So if the Browns come out swinging, he's our guy. He's the future. They would have painted a target on his back before he even got his jersey dry cleaned. So instead, they flipped the script. Play it cool. Let the other team sleep. Let the media get bored. Let the timeline argue itself to death about who's starting and why. Meanwhile, Shedeur's learning the playbook, building chemistry, watching game film with no cameras on him, working in the shadows. It's genius, because now when he does show up, he's not the rookie trying to prove himself. He's a player you underestimated who's been sharpening his sword in silence. And the Browns? They look like masterminds. But let's not pretend this plan hasn't come with tension. Oh, it's there. You got players in the locker room who are watching Shedeur throw absolute lasers in practice and wondering why he's still third on the depth chart. You got veterans side-eyeing the attention, coaches walking tightropes in interviews. And fans? Fans are loud. Some of them are foaming at the mouth for a QB change right now. Others are still asking if Shedeur even deserves to be in the league, based on where he was drafted. The irony? That fifth-round pick label is exactly what's given the Browns their breathing room. It's a camouflage move, because had they picked him in the first or second round, this entire city would be in a quarterback war zone. But fifth round? You can hide behind that. You can say, he's developing without getting roasted. You can play the long game, as long as he stays quiet. But let's talk about that, too. The silence. Because it's not just the Browns who've been quiet. Shedeur himself has been eerily composed. No leaks, no diva moments, no cryptic tweets or shade on IG. And for a guy who's grown up in the spotlight, that's intentional. That's discipline. That's someone who knows at the moment he speaks out about his spot on the depth chart, about the strategy, about anything, the floodgates open, and the story becomes about him, not the plan. But make no mistake, he knows. He knows what they're doing. He's watching. He's listening. And he's waiting. So now, it's just a matter of when. Because they can only keep this car hidden for so long. Eventually, the Browns are going to hit that inevitable crossroads. The veteran starter falters. The offense flatlines. The locker room starts asking louder questions. Or the fans just demand a new era. And when that day comes, Shedeur Sanders walks out of the tunnel. Calm. Ready? Helmet in hand. Spotlights all on him. And the Browns? They either look like visionaries or they crumble under the weight of their own secrecy. Because that's the thing about strategy. It only looks smart if it works. If Shedeur gets a shot and flops, this entire plan looks like ego in disguise. Arrogance masked as patience. Another missed opportunity in a city full of them. But if he thrives, if he lights it up, If he becomes everything the Browns quietly believed he could be, then this becomes a playbook every other team tries to copy. The new model: let the QB sit, build the brand, nurture the moment, wait for the perfect conditions, and then, boom, detonate. It's risky, it's bold, but it might just be brilliant. So what happens next? Honestly, it's already happening. The Browns are running control burn, keeping the fire hot but contained, and they're hoping nobody notices the smoke rising until it's too late. Because when Shedeur does take over, don't expect a modest rollout. Expect fireworks. Expect Media Day madness. Expect Dion front row with his shades on, giving a one-liner that breaks the internet. Expect Shedeur to walk in like it's always been his team, because in his mind, it has been. And the Browns? They've just been laying the red carpet in silence. So yeah, Catherine Hickman may have slipped, but what she revealed, that wasn't a mistake. That was a warning. Cleveland's been cooking something, and soon, we're all going to watch them serve.